Lucy just became milk toast, and that is something Lucy never was or will be, is milk toast. You know, no matter how old she gets, Lucy's gonna have a fire, gonna cause trouble, gonna, you know.
It's Lucy.
Yeah, it's Lucy.
Did you find after Dallas, and I don't mean any shade by this, but like, did you find, because it's from playing any character for so long, like, did you find like you were typecast, like, when you try to go for auditions and people just see Lucy, which, people could say the same about Larry or Linda or anyone that plays a character for a long time?
You know, a little bit, but again, and at this point I was a single mother with my daughter, so I wasn't actively seeking, but I was able to get opportunities to do other things that were incredible. Like I was able to go do the play Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf in London. I didn't play Martha, I was too young. I could play Martha now, but I played the character of Honey. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is a 4-character play. We did the uncut 3-hour, 45-minute version. So, and I did that in London. And of course, London, the theater, those critics, they wanted to see, what is that little American Charlene Tilton going to do? Well, I got great reviews. It was one of the most fulfilling creative experiences of my life. And I did so I ended up doing a lot of theater. I did a play with Emma Jean Coca and Renee Auberjonois called The Foreigner. And it was a comedy. And I did that in San Francisco. And these were things that I could do because I was there for enough time that my daughter could come with me. And so just being able to do theater was, I focused more on that than anything else. And I had a blast and I loved doing it and racked up some really great theater credits and wonderful shows.
One of the other things you did during Dallas, which this will date me, is Battle of the Network Stars.
Yes.
Right? I mean, how much fun was that?
That was amazing. Oh my gosh. I have this great picture in the other room. I wish I would have known. I would show you. It's from Battle of the Network Stars. Lou Ferrigno, McLean Stevenson, Valerie Burton, Natalie LeVar Burton. Who am I leaving out? Pat Klaus, myself, David Letterman. Did I say David Letterman?
No.
We were all on the same team. And I did several of those.
You need to take a picture and send it to me, like to check, because like I could post it with this episode. That's like a classic picture.
Okay, I'll email it to you for sure.
Yeah, that's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just seems like they should bring back Battle of the Network Stars. I probably.
They did. I did it a couple years ago, and I did it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and they said that I did more Battle of the Network Stars than anybody else, and I didn't even know that. Can you imagine? Because truly, I am the most unathletic person on the planet. The only thing I was good at was the kayak. And I guess because I'm so short, what I would do is I would just put my legs straight out in front of me and I would just fold over like this and I'd have like zero and I would just go like this. And Howard Cosell was, look at that little Charlene Tilton passing up Heather Locklear in lane 2. And here comes Charlene Tilton winning the kayak. And that's the only thing I could do for some reason. And that and the dunk tank. I had great eye-hand coordination. So I was good at the dunk tank.
But see, even that, like, who would ever think like, okay, let's make a kayak and B, a dunk tank part of this experience? Like, that is why it's a brilliant show. And I do remember when they brought it back, and I don't know, I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. They should keep going with this.
Oh, I loved it when they brought it back. It was, I had a blast doing it. We did it in one day. They used to do it in 2, and it was better doing it in 2. I remember though, one of the shows I did was Tom Selleck was on my team, and each star had to do 2 events. Again, I'm like always the last one picked for any team, whatever. So to do my second event, we would do the Tandem. So Tom Selleck was the Tandem bicycle race. So Tom Selleck was obviously riding in the front, and I was gonna ride in the back. My feet couldn't even touch the pedals, right? So we would they said, just hold your feet up and just bend down so Tom could just ride. So instead of me helping him pedal, he was basically carrying 90 pounds dead weight. He didn't win. But
Oh my
I like to
God.
say it. And here's Tom Selleck in his little bicycle shorts, and I'm just grabbing on, going, wee.
You're like, wait a second, this isn't the dunk tank. Like, let me go back to that. Oh
Oh,
my God.
listen, I had no problem holding on to Tom Selleck's waist while he pedaled. I was just like, hello.
Right. Seriously, you're like, well, speaking of things that came back, TNT 2012, the Dallas 2.0. How did that come about for you? Like, did you have any reservations, or, was it like you got the call and you heard like Linda was in and Patrick was in and Larry was in and you're like, this sounds great?
At Larry Hagman's birthday party, I heard it was going to happen. Anyway, I had talked to Larry on the phone, and he had told me about it and said they were really just concentrating on them and not anybody else. So then they sent a script saying, they had said, oh, we want to bring Lucy and Ray back for the first episode and whatever. So I read the script, and I think I have like 2 lines that said a barbecue or something, and Steve Canale, who plays Ray, is there. So I called Steve and I said, what do you think? He goes, I'm not doing this shit. What are they doing? And I said, well, I understand. I said, I had to catch my breath before I called you. I said, but I said, I thought about it and I prayed about it. And I said, I feel like we're supposed to be there to support them, just to be there on the set, bringing them good energy. We're basically extras in the show. We're literally glorified extras. We're just standing around. I said, but just to be there and give them applause and go for it, just cheer them on. And he said, well, you're a much better person than I am. And I go, well, have a think about it. That's just my attitude. I said, my first attitude is what you were saying. I'm not doing this. But then I caught my breath and prayed. And I said, I really feel like that's what we're supposed to do. And then he called me back and said, all right, I'm in. And so we went and we did it. We said our 2 little lines and we had a great time. And then afterwards, Steve and his wife and I, we were at the airport, and he said, thank you. Thank you for talking me into doing this. He said, it was so much fun. We had a great time. We had a great time doing it. Then at one point they had asked me to come back. They wanted to give me a storyline, but I was already committed. I was doing a TV show in London, and I couldn't do it. And they said, well, why can't you cancel that? I go, because I'm actually got a flight booked. I'm on my way to London. I'm going to be in London for 6 months. And I said, if you wanted me, you should have asked. So
do you know what the storyline was that they were going to give Lucy?
I have no idea, but and it could have been just me, and then they made this whole thing like, oh, big reunion. And it was advertised all over. Lucy reunited with Gary and Val, reunited with her parents. There's a knock on the door. Bobby and I answer it, and it's Valine, my mother. And I go, Mama, And Bobby looks at Val and says,